accessing our cyclical nature with the tides and all of that. It was a magazine for like ages 11 to 14, and it was all about feminism. It was like nascent, like second wave feminism. There were columns like that's totally annoying, where 11-year-olds would write in and be like, I was picked last for the softball team, even though I was the only girl. How annoying! Or, you know, I've noticed that every time there's a commercial for a board game, the girl never wins. How annoying! And I incorporated this. And the problem with raising a girl as a feminist, as an ethos, like with training materials, is that I didn't get the nuance that feminism is supposed to have. I didn't get the fact that I had a ton more power because I had lighter skin or straight hair. I didn't get that I had a ton more power because I had parents who could afford to clothe and shelter and feed me and educate me, or go on vacation every now and then, or go to museums. I didn't have a language for all of that. And so what I did have a language for was, boys get too much of the share of the pie and they're going down. That's what I got. And I internalized this. This is like how I was. Like, boys were a problem. I would be in class and somebody would be like, you know, one of my teachers would be like, you're the smartest girl I've ever taught. And I would be like, why am I not the smartest student you've ever taught? That's sexist. And it was my entire life. And what was not helping with all of this boys versus girls binary mentality was that my mom would bring me when she volunteered at our local battered women's shelter. And if there's anything that will not help you see that that men might be the problem, is going to a battered women's shelter and really just seeing the destruction there. And I would just go when I was really young, and my mom would do some counseling, and I would just kind of hang around and play with the kids and just be there, just be a friendly face around. And this one time, I was there, and I was with a little girl who was just underfed and tiny. She was so thin and little. And she was wearing a t-shirt that was way too small, even for her small frame, and these corduroys that were way, way too big. And she looked like a little stick in a bag. It was just so clear that her mother, her parents didn't have time when they were getting out of some abusive situation or the money to get clothes that fit this girl. She was just living on scraps, any scrap of attention or love or material goods that she could get. And I started playing with her, and she was so nice, and she was so shy, and so sweet once I got to talk to her. And there was a boy there. Now, the boy was probably in the same situation. He was there because his mom was in a terrible situation and needed to be at the shelter too. He was acting out his situation way different from this girl. He was aggressive, and he was mean, and he was over big. He was one of those guys who everything about him was swollen, but he carried himself like a scraggly guy, and I just kind of felt trouble from him, so I stayed away. And me and this little girl were playing with each other's hair and doing each other's fake makeup, and we found some highlighters, and we were doing each other's nails. And I was having so much fun. And this boy, I'm sure, felt left out. And he came up to us, especially the little girl who was smaller than me and more easily picked on, and said, what, are you trying to make yourself cute? You know you're still ugly, and nobody likes you anyway. And it was so hurtful. It was so much about not just being ugly, but feeling unwanted in that moment, that was twisting the knife in the worst situation that she could be in. And he was just exercising his power over her, and I decided it was not going to stand. And I said, why is your head so big? Everyone knows you don't have a brain in there anyway. Only time I've ever done this. And it was like dramatic chipmunk. And there was a moment, and we both ran for it, and we were running. It was the most action movie I've ever felt in my life. I was like slamming like waste baskets behind me so he could trip over them. I was like sliding on my hip under desks, and he was chasing me, and I was looking over my shoulder, and he finally caught up to me, and he managed to plug down with his knees both my shoulders and my arms and my hair. So I'm not doing anything, and he is just wailing on me. I mean, I probably 25 punches directly to the face. And in this moment, 7 years old, I'm 7 years old, I'm like, he's not going to watch me cry. And I just take it with my eyes open. need 3 people to pull him off me, and they're pulling me away from him. And I'm managing to lean into him and still keep my face like this. Like, you didn't hurt me. I swear to God, you will not see me cry. And it was the most badass I've ever felt. And for like 10 years, I was telling that story being like, I was so cool, not letting that guy see me cry. And the more I get older, the more I realize that not letting him see me cry had nothing to do with my power. Like, that was a choice I made in that moment. But my strength in that moment was sticking up for that little girl, was recognizing how she was feeling and trying to be there for her. My strength as an adult woman is to be in touch with all of those emotions, not to have to repress my sadness and express it as anger. My strength is knowing all those emotions, to know when I'm hurting and to know why I'm hurting, and to know to make that hurt right. To know to listen, and to know that to help to make that hurt right for other people. And that, I think, is true women power.